goes right through. Puts on the step again. Oh, goes Freddie. That was magnificent stuff.
Welcome back to the Advantage Line Punters, and in what has been a sad week for the game. New South Wales, Australian, Sydney Roosters icon Boyd Cordner has announced his retirement due to a series of head knocks. Two fellas well associated with suffering the long-lasting effects of head knocks. Paul Mawadi and Matt Fisk, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Teddy.
Cheers, Teddy.
Talk about a tenuous link.
I don't know. It looks like Fisky is coming to us live from the bunker. Where is Fisky?
Fritzl's bunker.
H, can you have a look at this for me, H?
He said he'll look after me if I start tipping winners. It's been a long week down here.
I'll tell you what, we might get a little bit more efficiency from your likes of Henry Perenara if Fritzl was above him. We will get under the refereeing soon, but I did want to touch on Boyd Cordner first. Sad week for the game, but probably a seminal week for the game as well, I would have thought. I know Jake Friend retired for similar reasons early in the season, but Friend, of course, I know played some Origin last year, but was renowned as just a very good, honest club footballer. Boyd Cordner, though, was for a good period of time, the dominant forward in the league. And, won 3 premierships to the Roosters. Retiring at just the age of 29, revered for his hardness. Kind of, where does this leave the sport, Fisky?
I've had a good think about this, Ted, and I just want to touch on Boyd. Everyone's brought up his memories and the heights he's reached in rugby league. My enduring memory of him was in the 2017 World Cup final. I was at that game, and England were really up for the match. It was a really good game of footy, and Boyd actually scored the only try of the match, 6-0. But
6-0.
One of the most enjoyable games of football I've ever been to.
Yeah, I would have that in a top 10 game I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And Boyd, he ran his courage line as per usual. There was a period there in the mid-2010s where he just kept running that line and just kept scoring. He was just untouchable.
They might start calling it a Cordner line soon, because it was a relatively unique line for him to run. Like, they call it the courage line for a reason. Not many people do it.
Yeah, that's right. And then when you see Billy Kickow running away from the defence, we might call that the Mawadi line.
If I could run for ski, it would be called that.
No, look, I've had a think about it. I think Boyd's doing the right thing for him, and the game's doing the right thing for the players with the change. I don't want to get carried away. I don't think the game's in any threat. I think people are just getting smarter, and I think you'll find in 20 years' time, the players will be playing for longer, and the imminent threat of these head knocks and whatnot will be gone, or will be severely reduced. We're talking about the effects now on players that are older, that we're copying 30, 40, 50 concussions. Like, no one's getting anywhere near that now. So I think we've passed the worst of it. We're going to make sure is we stay consistent on the rulings and the care for the players, and I think we'll be right. I'm quite optimistic, Ted.
Yeah, I think Cordner was a bit of a victim of history here, that he got caught up in at the end of one era when you kind of got I know that the days of the thuggery that were behind, but he certainly came through where no one really gave a damn about concussion.
And don't forget that the wrestle was at its absolute peak during his career, during the height of his career. So games were low, very low scoring. Interestingly, everyone's talking about the high scoring matches we're getting right now. They're kind of on par with the early 2000s. So it's not never been seen before when people say that. That's wrong. It's just that it went through a massive dip, and it was all about the grapple and slowing it down. And the contact as a result was absolutely huge. And we're just stepping back a bit now. So, like I say, I think it's a good sign for the game.
Yeah, I kind of don't disagree with any of that. And you are going to see players retire early. So you see that a lot in the NFL right now. But then by the same token, because the game is safer, you do see a Tom Brady playing to his 45. You are going to see, on average, the average age kind of go up, I would have thought. So Yeah, it is an interesting time for the game, but I don't think it's the death of the game.
I was reading an article on Brett Horsnell just the other day, and
Brisbane Rugby League legend, Gold Coast Seagulls legend.
He's fallen on some hard times, and he is one who has been affected by those head knocks that he took during his career. So I think it's I mean, if you look at some of those games last season where Cordner took some head knocks, I think the writing was on the wall there, and they were sort of. I didn't think he would be coming back after.
I think they gave him a chance to come back for Cordner to prove to himself that he couldn't. I don't think there was ever any real intention from the Roosters to play.
Yeah.
I think with the Hawks, I think you're going to see a lot more of that in the next kind of 10 to 20 years. Kind of the lingering effects of players who did suffer a lot before the game went down. But I think if there's one thing that came out of this Cordner retirement is that Peter V'landys is completely justified in this crackdown. And just looking through the notes for this week, and I think that Fisky's put it out there here that the crackdown is justified, but Graham Annesley cannot get the troops to read the room. And last weekend was an abject disgrace. Like the decision not to send off, or at least sin bin,
Kevin
Proctor was like utterly just like it was a swinging coat hanger. It was an old 1987. That's sent off.
Yeah,
absolutely no risk. Like I have no idea why that wouldn't be a send off. And it was classic Ben Cummins, just law in terms of, we're going to edge our way back from this. We don't feel comfortable doing this. Absolute script. What the NRL need, they need a bigger pool of referees so they can actually drop some of these idiots.
Yeah, well, this is disgraceful. And you're right, Ted. So this bloody Annesley's sitting there going, everyone's got a different look at it and a different view. But that was an abject disgrace. And then you compare it to young Hetherington for the Broncos, where he was a victim of a player sort of running into him, actually hurtling into him. He gets sent off. There's no consistency, and that's what all the fans want. And the protection of the players' heads, I think it was Isaiah Papali'i put his knee into a tiger's head. Deliberately, after the tackle being completed.
He shuffled around, tried to put his knee down, realised it wasn't on his head, then put it down. That's a 6-week suspension.
Yeah, and he got none. And this is, they're talking about trying to care for the players, and then these officials, not V'landys, not the players, these officials let them down. So here's two examples of where Annesley either jumps to the wrong conclusion or is struck by inaction. So the inaction part is Vili Kikau went down for a hamstring injury. The trainer called a halt to play, which is against the rules. It has to be a head knock. And they're investigating, and he doesn't think it's right to comment on it, and no action will be taken because we want to take our time and look at it. That was a blatant breach. The trainer should be suspended. The penalty should be fined. Kick-out probably should get suspended for a week or two. So, and the reason I think they're resting him this week is to try and pull the Roos over the eyes that he was severely injured because they know that they were in the wrong. So Annesley's there saying, no, I want to investigate that. I'm not going to comment. Yet he's jumping down the players' throats without any evidence saying they're lying down. And we're going to do crackdown on players lying down. There's no evidence of that. Players are getting hit in the head, and you can't penalise them if they get hit in the head and decide to stay down. He's all over the shop, Annesley. He's dead set got nothing.
I think the diving issue, the staging issue, definitely has to be looked at some stage of the season. But the fact is, if you get hit in the head, and the referee should see that. The referee should be aware of it, and the referee should make a judgment call. Where I have an issue with some of this stuff, it's kind of like Ben Cummins. Like, there's a video going around social media directing Ashley Taylor to stay down during a tackle, so he can give a penalty, and then him not sending Kevin Proctor to the sin bin because who also stayed up? Joe Marner stayed up. Like, I'm sorry, like if the resulting injury or how a player reacts to it should not be the determining factor as to whether a player is sin bin or sent off or whatnot. But kudos to Joey Marner for getting his turn up. If he'd have stayed down, Kevin Proctor would have been sent to the bin, and that's appalling. Like, the referees are encouraging players to stay down. And I kind of can't cop that. When it comes to the Kobe header and send-off, Paul, I actually had no problem with it. And it was the wrong decision. I have no doubt at all. But I would much rather see a referee like Peter Goff have the courage to send someone to the field, well, Chris something it was, send someone from the field when they think an active foul player has been attacked, than not. And I like, it was the wrong decision. It was a bad judgment call. But I actually don't have the. I have more of a problem with the non-send-off of Proctor than I do with the send-off of Hetherington.
Irregardless of the crackdown that we're having at the moment, the problem that has always been in the NRL is the ability of the referees to actually enforce the rules as they should be consistently. So, as you say, it looks like, and I'm sure we'll have a complete 360 this week, but last week it seemed like if you stayed down, you got a penalty and there was a chance the player would be sent from the field either for 10 minutes or for the game. If you got straight back up again, nothing happened whatsoever, which is not how it should be adjudicated. It should be, if there's contact with the head and the initial contact is with the head, it's a penalty straight away, and then you can make a judgment call on whether it was severe enough for 10 minutes or a send-off. But the way they did it last week was just, it was ridiculous. And they need a bit of, the referees have to make the call on the spot, but they need a lot more help from the bunker who have the time to go back and look at it.
Well, look who's in the bunker though, Paul. Like this is the problem. This is where this crackdown has failed to some extent. Is they've done very little to look at the quality of the officials who are doing this. Like, I know we can't just kind of come out and come up with 8 new referees who are going to be a first grade stand tomorrow. I'm not unrealistic, but I have no idea why you couldn't come up with 3 or 4 or 5 video referees who are more competent. Honestly, you can pull us 3 in there and are more competent, and we get decisions more right and be more assistance to the referees than Henry Perenara is. How Henry Perenara couldn't have seen that and goes, that's Simeon. Is beyond me. Like a blind moron could have told you that.
So I think Perenara looks like it's an HR issue, like because he's retired for health issues. They've given him duties in the office, and he's just sort of sitting there in the bunker and gets every game. He seems to be doing every bloody game. Are you feeling that? I just think
every game. H. The fact they call him H just annoys the hell out of me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think. You think it's a HR issue. I think his employment is an equal opportunity issue because it is. There is no other way to justify how he ever would have got a job in the first place, let alone continue one. Like, it is abhorrent. And the fact that basically the match review panel has no. How they didn't see anything as our Papali'i situation?
Yeah, I don't get it. And
they've got no time pressure.
Even Micah Sivo, like that was a flush head high on Dewey. He's probably going to miss 2 or 3 weeks. Like he's been knocked around there. Sivo get 1 week. That to me, Radley gets 5. It just doesn't seem. I think Radley deserved the 5. I just think Sivo should have been at least 3. I don't know where they come up with the numbers.
I know. I actually have no problem with longer suspensions. Like, just how Jim Coman's he's eradicated some of this stuff. If you cop a week, coach is hardly going to tell you to change much. If you want to cop 4 weeks and then 4 weeks and then 4 weeks, like all of a sudden you become Jack Hetherington and you have to change your style.
Yeah, that's right.
How many weeks has Pappenhausen been gone?
Yeah,
exactly right. And people go, if you suspend players, you'll miss the starts. What about Ryan Pappenhausen? He played his last game on Magic Weekend, which was 6 weeks ago, and he's not due back for at least another couple of weeks. He's missed an entire Origin series, of which he undoubtedly would have been the number 14.
Can I chime in here with another Annesley special? Now, I follow rugby league very closely, gentlemen, and I can never remember some of the rubbish he's pulled out. He said that the commissioner has a right to decide if a player would have got picked for Origin, and it's been happening for years, and we can count that to the suspension. It hasn't been happening for years. The old rule was if you were named in the team and then got suspended, that it can count.
Of which Queensland used that rule to an absolute T.
They used it well, but they actually sat down and somehow, and go figure, they've decided that the first Origin will count on Radley's suspension, but the second one won't. They've made
He would have been dropped. Annesley knows he would have been dropped.
Yeah, he knows. He can read the tea leaves. I'm gobsmacked by that because that was always a clear rule. They're just making it on the run now.
There's no way that the first Origin should have been counted. He's never played an Origin.
Yeah, and they hadn't picked the side. They had not picked the side.
But it's some of the stuff that comes out is just a point. And if people are serious, and I get the impression he's very serious. I get the impression he's very genuine about what he does. And it's not just all player welfare. Like, it's also like he doesn't want the game to be getting sued to hell in the coming decade. So I've got no problem with what he's doing now. He seriously needs to look at people like Graham Annesley and the referees and the video referee and do something about it, because they're letting him down. The match review committee. Did you hear he was on the match review committee? Anthony Quinn was one of them. like why? Like, why are you just getting ex-players to do this? Like, why are you not getting? I just don't get it.
Hey, Paul, how do you know Graham Annesley's lying? His lips are
moving.
Oh, mate, he's just out of his depth. I get really disheartened every Monday or Tuesday when he comes on and explains. It's a smother job from day one.
I did hear a good line from Paul Kett, though, that he's copying so much at the moment that he wishes he would be back in New South Wales politics.
Oh, the bear pit.
I'll tell you what, I just have to have a look at how the New South Wales government, Gold Coast Titans and the NRL are going to see the long-lasting impact that Graham Annesley's had.
Oh, yeah, a winner.
A winner.
Let's stop talking about the refs now.
Let's stop talking about the refs. I think that's a good thing. Let's talk about how bad the refs are, how bad we are. Thank God we're back to a three-manner this week. We've lost Blake Aitken. We all went to order last week. None of us could find a winner.
I raise emotion, and I love Blake, but I raise emotion not to have him on the podcast.
He makes us look bad.
Yeah, we really did have a shot. Well, I did. I think Ted made a profit on the NRL, but yeah, Origin was a wipeout.
Origin, complete wipeout.
Yes.
Is that why the numbers were so bad, Paul?
Yeah, that may have had something to do with it, yeah.
It was a very, very unpleasant evening. And then I backed Latrell Mitchell on the run at about 15 balls for man of the match. And there was no question he was the second best player on the field. Every time he'd score, I'd look up and Turbo had passed it. Every time he'd set up a try, I'd look up and Turbo was catching it. It's like, you two are bloody centres. I've never been less impressed to see two centres combined. Let's have a little quick recap of Origin last week. Not much that really needs to be said. It hasn't been said. Queensland were abhorrent. New South Wales were very good. And I hate to say this, but Brad Fittler, his use of Tom Trbojevic was outstanding. It was as innovative coaching in Origin as I was saying.
Yeah, it was a masterstroke. It's like he entered the game with nothing to lose, when in fact he had everything to lose. The better side, he'd had a losing series last year, but he said to hell with that. And that, I guess, that is Freddie's style. And yeah, it was refreshing. I've been a critic, but there was two things that stood out. Just the way he gave Tommy a roving commission to play on both sides of the ruck. And,
he pretty much played the role of a second fullback.
Oh, yes, yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe you can do it. Some people that want to make a difference in the NRL and they've got coaching credentials, maybe they want to look at that and try something different. That was a key standout for me. But secondly, I thought the debutants were brilliant. There was a lot of doubt over Brian To'o and Jerome Luai.
And I'll put the hand up here. I did not think Luai would be well suited to the game. I could have been wrong. He was very good.
He stood up, and I know from chatting to a few people in the game, they were trying to chase him a year or two ago, and they said he'll be the preeminent half in the game in the next couple of years, and they're probably right. He stood up. They got a bit of flair, a bit of Ric Flair about him, but they can deliver. They can back it up. So good on them.
Well, I think it goes to show in certain positions, club combinations count for a hell of a lot when you go up to state of origin level. So his combination with Cleary, even though they're on opposite sides of the field, was very, very good.
And Yo linked them really well.
Yes, yeah, and for all of the magical stuff they did with the ball in hand, I thought their defense was just outstanding.
How fast
Very
was
good line
that?
speed.
That defensive line was lightning fast.
It was huge. They were every time a Queensland player got the ball to bring it back up, that New South Wales line was already up on the advantage line almost before he received the ball. It was just sensation, just brilliant defense. So, yeah, there's a lot of work for the Queenslanders to do, and I guess we might talk about that next time.
Yeah, we'll preview Origin 2 next week. That is the only thing we've got to preview next week. So, as well as the Women's Origin. But 2 questions before we move on from Origin. Can Queensland bounce back, Paul?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, I think
they've shown it before. Green's obviously is going to have to make some changes. Well, he'll probably have a few players that will come back in because they won't be injured. I can see Ponga coming in. I'd love to see Walsh coming in the number 14 jersey, if not Hunt.
I think Hunt has to be in the side.
If you can't have them both, though, can you? Unless you start Walsh.
Yeah, I could. Depending on how Ponga comes through this week, I guess that's the next question to discuss here. What changes do Queensland make? New South Wales will not make any changes. I think you cannot play Kyle Feldt again. I think Holmes has to go back to a win. So you've either got to play Ponga, Brimson, or Reece Walsh at fullback.
Yeah, I think having Holmes at fullback and Feldt in the wing, that's just 2 clangers. I think Holmes, his club form's been pretty good, but at that level,
he's a great finisher.
He just cannot compete at that level. Club level has been fine, but I think Capewell's got to go or move into the pack or the bench. I think Jaden Sewer was there on reputation. He's been horrific this year.
And he's been dropped again by Wayne Bennett.
Wayne's got no time for him, so that's enough for me. So I think Capewell's got to take that bench spot.
You can't play Brimson in that role anymore, can you?
Nah, I think. Look, I'm really worried about both AJ and Ponga. I don't think either will be up for this game.
You might have to play Reece Walsh though.
Yeah, apparently the Warriors have come out, which is a great sign of confidence, and told the Queensland selectors his defence is not up to it. So they haven't really gone into bat for their.
You know what? I would be honest. If Nathan Brown's saying that someone can't do something, he's probably wrong. So his inability to be able to use Reece Walsh quickly. I think the big ins for them though will be Josh Papali'i back.
Yeah, that's huge.
And Christian Welch presumably will play the full game.
Yeah, he went down early, and that didn't help. But with some of the we talked about at line speed, Paul made point of it. I think some of these big forwards will be good, and they'll need it, but they just need a little bit more agility as well. They need to be getting it wide, a couple of passes, and trying to work different sides of the field, and just to shake the New South Wales defence up. They made it too easy for them, and I'm probably less optimistic. The gap is just huge. And
I couldn't have Xavier Coates in the team either. To be honest, they probably haven't got anyone to replace him. He probably will be there, but he's so slow and lumbering.
Yeah,
and again, I thought he would have a massive advantage over Tua, and I could not have been more wrong on that one.
Yeah, it was interesting though, the players poll this week, and I enjoy reading that because when it comes to who they regard as best in each position, I think they know. There's a lot of things that players probably aren't great judges on, but picking who their best opponents are, I think they're very well credentialed. And yeah, Brian To'o came up as number 1. Him and Adokar really close, number 1 winger. So he's highly thought of in the playing fraternity, which surprised me, but just goes to show he is killing it.
Yeah, he's going well. And more on Origin next week. Just a few little bits and bobs around there before we get to this week's tips. Dragons told Corey Norman he's out. They've told Matt Duffy he's out. They've gone to water. They've lost to the Bulldogs, Paul. There are only 2 wins in the last 9 weeks. Canterbury and Brisbane probably regressing to where we thought they would be mid-season. All over Red Road for the Dragons?
I think so, yeah. As you say, they've regressed to where they probably should be. They look like a sort of a a 10-11 team for mine. But the big news is the Bulldogs on a win streak. And you would have enjoyed the Breakfast TV headline over here on Tuesday morning. Steve Hansen inspires Bulldogs to 58-6 win over Dragons.
His first game, I think.
I'm going to assume that's a rev up, Paul. That didn't actually happen.
That was fair. That's fair income.
Mate, round 14.
New Zealand is a disgrace.
Round 14, he's gone to his first game as head of performance. So if anyone can get a job like that, please let me know.
What are you talking about? Paul's got a job like that.
In the Fed income department, what do the Dragons do with Dufty? It's like they've turned on him more than anyone else has. Do they play him this week? Because he's obviously not feeling the love, and he played like that last week.
He really carried it, to be honest.
Yeah.
They've got to play him. They've got no one else. They're a much better side with him.
Yeah.
They're not going to go down the same road as like the Sharks. They've moved on from Townsend. So they're playing Moylan and Johnson in the halves. If the Dragons have moved on from Dufty, do they not give one of the young guys a go?
No, they want to play Ramsey there next year.
They do, yes.
Yeah, they might. I wouldn't be surprised if Ramsey moves there. And
the problem is they've got too many injuries, so they're already struggling and have had to get exemptions to play players up already this year.
I know you've got to make some tough calls. I get that in roster management. I don't know if this is the right call, but just that media offensive against him, saying, "Oh, look at this! When he was number one defender, he went out when he should have come in." And
some of it's been vicious. Yeah, some of it's
really
been and clearly coming from the Dragons camp.
Absolutely, it's them trying to justify their decision to the wider public. Look, make a call, do what Bennett does, do what Bellamy or Robinson does. They'll let a player go. They'll wish him the best, and they move on. They do not hang him out to dry in public. And I think it's been really poorly done. And this will spell the end for the Dragons.
Yeah, no doubt. A few quick fire answers, boys, on where players on it next year. Paul, Matt Dufty.
Oh, wow. I really don't know, mate. Brisbane?
I'm going to say Bulldogs, Matt Dufty. Fishy?
Oh, I might plumb with Raiders.
Sean Johnson, Paul?
Well, I think his prospects are a little more brighter than Dufty. I don't know. Maybe the Tigers?
I reckon he'll go to the Broncos.
Yeah, it's not a bad one, Ted. Yeah, I think Dogs need him, but I think he'll end up at the Broncos.
Yeah. Corey Norman?
Super League.
Rugby Union.
Lee. Batley Bulldogs. I don't know if he's Super League standard fist. Anthony Milford.
Super League.
I reckon he
Raiders.
will. Yeah, I don't know that he won't end up at the Raiders. So I think he will. I think someone will give him a chance. If you'd have told me that Ash Taylor and Anthony Milford were the same age, I would have said you're an idiot. I would have thought Anthony Milford was like 6 years older than him.
Yeah.
So I can see Anthony Milford lobbying in at another club, like maybe a Newcastle, maybe. And then let Pierce go. Yeah. Well, I mean, don't just say like just dumb things like a dumb club will sign thinking they've got talent. And the last one I wanted to do, Ash Taylor.
Ted, we probably should have talked about this off air. So I'll give an answer here. Ash Taylor, Super League as well. That was my point. There's a time we have a Super League correspondent. I think I've got people in the UK texting me saying they want to get on. Can we get an update of his month?
Yes, we definitely can.
Straight from Yorkshire. Leave it with me, Ted. Leave it with me.
I love it. Yes.
Will we need subtitles?
Oh,
we need subtitles now, Paul. Have you heard me speak? Ruben, get onto it. Couple bits and pieces. One of your favourites, Shisky, Brandon Smith. He scored in like 7 straight games. He's flying. Have we lost your Fisk?
He's frozen.
No mistake about it. And it's not just brute strength and his toughness. His guile and his skill level's gone to stratosphere. I think he's brilliant at the moment. He's taken the challenge.
Have you ever seen a player who can get lower
Yeah.
when they're diving with him? I've never seen a player. He is almost subterranean. He gets that low.
He's like the gopher in Caddyshack.
Exactly
Who's Bill Murray? I just want to know who Bill Murray is. Playing the golf balls there. One of the great scenes.
One of the great movies.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. He's obviously set himself up for a huge pay packet, and they're talking maybe Gold Coast. And if I was any
just
club,
paying Canterbury, paying $2 million.
Yeah, any club, just get him, and he's really stepped up. And
he's a game changer. He's just a game changer with what he does.
It's amazing. You look at last season, and you tell me who was the better player, Kotrick or Remus. It wasn't Remus.
It was Kotrick, yeah.
And now this season, it's not even a competition. There's just nothing. I'm not saying that the Storm are good and the Bulldogs are bad. Well, no, actually, that is what I'm saying. The Storm are very, very good. And
breaking news: Paul says Storm are good, Bulldogs are bad. Someone call the New Zealand Herald and tell them that Steve Hansen says that Paul Mawadi agrees with him.
He's turned that club around.
So I think with Brandon, I'm kicking myself because he makes it really personal with the Warriors. He will never play for the Warriors, mark my words, because of what the way they treat him as a kid. And I know it's a different management and whatnot, but he really lifts when he plays them and just absolutely dominates every time.
You love to see it.
And I think the Gold Coast suits his lifestyle when he wants to end up in Queensland, like most Kiwis, Paul. So.
Well, he can wear his budgie smugglers up on the Gold Coast.
Oh, mate, I'm telling you what, they'll need a strong coach to keep him away from.
Oh, Trent Barrett's just that.
Oh, it's not the doggies.
Couple other bits before we get going. Paul, Penrith got the wobbles. Expecting to bounce back this week with a full quota of players, or do you think it is all over? I'm not all over Red Rover, but that they're going to continue their form slot.
They bounce back, even though they're taking on the Roosters this weekend. They bounce back. They've got they're almost at full strength. Just Kiko not available, but
might be a positive the way he's been playing.
Well, exactly. And they've got Liam Martin who slots straight in there, and he's been sensational for them this year. I see them bouncing back big time. If there was one club that's been terribly affected by first Origin. And then injuries, it's been the Panthers. So, yeah, I think they bounce back.
Fisky, the Broncos, back in spoon contention now. They are playing some guy. This guy hasn't played in 12 years. Carmichael Hunt, I don't know what he's been doing, but he's all of a sudden playing first grade again. That's going to be one of the biggest indictments on the club of all time, doesn't it?
I think Dogs need to just find one win and Broncos will get the spoon. They're getting hammered on the road. So this Saints side, who can't get out of their own way, put 30 or 40 on them 52 2 weeks ago. Canberra was scoring tries at will, and they've been battling. They're gone, the Bronx. They are gone, and they're not going to bounce back. I see nothing in any of their performances to suggest they'll get another win this year. They are gone.
Bornsky, love it. All right, let's get on to what we're all here for, the tips. Let's have a look at last week.
No.
We don't want to. I know we don't want to. So you've included both sets of results in this, Paul? No, he hasn't.
No, I have to a certain degree, yeah.
Oh, you've got your Origin, but not on the overall results. Is that right?
I've done NRL. That's all done.
No, I think we should just stick to NRL, really.
Just stick with the NRL because we didn't quite stick to the same formula we had last season for Origin. So I've filled out, yeah.
Happy with that.
On the NRL bets, Fisky, Warriors plus 14.5. No way. Teddy, Bunnies minus 16.5. I cannot believe.
Sickening.
I can't believe they don't cover that. I honestly, it's like they should have won that game by 40.
Latrell in the clear. The last few minutes, no one around him, and he just slowed down.
Oh my God! They dropped it to play the ball.
Yeah, that's it.
Killer. And Paul Broncos plus 8. Nah, it was not a banner week for our best bets last week. Multi-anchor. Let's pull this bad boy up. Fishy gets the win. Had South to beat the Knights. I've had a 5-leg multi for some reason.
It was a long week last week.
I got done on the Panthers, even though I backed the Sharks. Sea Eagles, Rabbitohs for Mawadi. Ruffy. Hold the phone block. I've nailed a Ruffy. That's my second of the year. 61 plus points at 450. Cowboys, Sea Eagles.
Cowboys, Sea Eagles. Yeah, Brookie.
How good. Rabbits Knights. Rabbits minus 26.5 and minus 28.5 for you two. No dice. As mentioned earlier, same as disdain. Total. I had over 50.5 in the Titans Roosters. Made it 69. Under 49.5 Raiders Broncos for Fisk. No good there. And over 49.5 Sea Eagles Cowboys. Well done there, Paul. Try time was the Warriors game. Jerome Hughes at $3. Bang. Fisky, RTS. Didn't see the game. I was watching some Group 10 rugby league. Did you get close, Fisky?
No, not even close.
No. And Josh Adokar, $1.40. Paul takes the good thing. Origin, yeah. Minus 300, minus 300, minus 300. We don't need to go into this. It was one of the great strip jobs of all time.
I've got to say, I'm a big advocate for betting responsibly and drinking responsibly, but Tuesday last week seems like a real blur. that night out with Blake really knocked me off my kilter.
I've heard whispers this week that you, rather than go on a night out and watch the footy, you decide to just go home and eat some kernel, and you've been rattled, Fisk.
Well, it was 6 nights in a row. Then the kernel. Give me some credit.
Drink responsibly, gamble responsibly. All right. This week, round 15, full week of action. Some decent games, some big lines as well. Let's start off with you, Fisky. Your best of round 15.
Thanks, Ted. I've found this a good week in terms of I like a lot of things, and I just
same, which I'm worried about.
I just can't land on the best, and I don't want to pull the wrong rein, but I'm going to go for Townsville on Friday night. I'm going to take the Cowboys here. They were humiliated last week at Manly, and it was really disappointing after being up 12-0. Sharks without Wade Graham is a real loss. They've been, they're looking for 4 in a row, and they've been playing well. But I think this is a really tough trip. They've got Sione Katoa and Braden Hammond Ueli on the wider bench, but they're not expected to travel. So it's a weakened side now without Wade Graham. And Cowboys at home, a pretty decent price. I'm going to take the minus 2.5 at $2. So that's my best bet of the week.
Teams off conceding 50, cover 62%. Those at home, 67%. So, big spot for the Cowboys here. Can't disagree with that. Paul, best of the week.
Yeah, I was going to take the Sea Eagles last weekend, but with a question mark over Tommy T, I thought, I better stay away from them. And when the Cowboys went up, was it 12-0? I thought, very good decision. In the end, it looks like Manly now they've got enough momentum behind them that they can take on the lesser teams and still do the business without Tommy T. They get him back this weekend, and I really like their chances, even though they have to travel up to take on the Titans. So I'm going to take the Sea Eagles minus 6.5.
Yeah, love that. I was tossing up between 3 matches. I was tossing up between that one. I was considering the Raiders this week, but I'm going to go and just stick with Old Faithful, the Melbourne Storm, minus 23.5 against the Tigers. Tigers have a pretty good record against the Storm, but I don't think they counts much. When these teams met last after the rule changes, Storm won 50-22. Just some numbers here that should put the fear of God into the Tigers. Top 16 to bottom 16 from last year, 20-11 against the spread. The Storm are 13-4 against the spread as a double-digit favourite away from Amy Park. 12 and 6 against the spread off scoring 40 points. Covered 6 of 9 when favoured by 18 plus. Covered 7 of 24 when away from Amy. So I think this is pretty clear. The Tigers covered just one of their last 5 interstate, 4 of 14 as an underdog of 8 or more points. So I'll be on the Storm. It's already moved from 21.5 to 23.5. I think this will start close to 26.
I think Ken Malmalo is going for 3 hat tricks in one season against the Storm.
How good? I mean, he's had a poor season, but crikey, he doesn't mind dotting down when he plays the Storm.
Unbelievable. And I think Tigers interesting pickup during the year, but we need every bit of help we can get. So let's see if we can get across the line.
I agree. You need every bit of help you can get. So I'm not sure why Ken Malmalo was signed. Your best total of the week, Fisk.
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah, he said, you're a funny man, mate. You're a funny man. There's 2 overs I like this week, and the overs just keep ticking over and become pretty consistent. I think last week was 5 and 3. The one I like this week is a day game in Newcastle. Newcastle v Warriors. Hold the phone there because I've just got the weather warning for Saturday. It's going to be a bit wet, so I'm going to back away from that one. I love that Newcastle Warriors in the day, but it looks like there'll be a bit of rain. So I'm going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to go Brisbane South Thursday night, tonight at Lang Park. Unusual. It's got to 51. It may get to 52. I'm going to have a little bit on the under. I think South will get most of the points. And like they did against Knights last week, I think they know how to play their opposition and slow a game down. And they're not like Melbourne. They're not ruthless. They like tapering, and they basically, when they got the game won, they'll just slow it down. So the game last week was only 34 points in good condition. So I'm going to go the under 51.5 Brisbane v South.
Yeah, interesting. I'll bet the over that one just on Cook's inclusion. I think they'll sharpen their attack up a bit more. But these got they don't have a history of over games. They've got a history of games that tally around the 40 to 42 mark. So not a bad play there, Fisky. Paul.
I'm sticking with the Titans Sea Eagles. I expect there to be a number of points scored here. The line's 51.5 at the moment. I'm taking the over 51.5 in the Titans Sea Eagles. If there's one player that has benefited from Tommy Turbo coming back into the Sea Eagles team, it's Jason Saab, who has been the recipient of a number of short passes from Tommy Turbo. And basically all he has had to do is stroll over the line. I expect to see him dot down more than once on Sunday, and I expect Tommy T to also dot down as well. So I can see quite a few points being scored in that game. Titans Sea Eagles over 51.5.
Yeah, love that play too. I like a lot of overs this week, but the one that really stands out for me is the Cowboys Sharks game. Over 52.5, I think it is now, up on 50.5 line. Well and truly shooting up there. Cowboys are a huge over team, 9-4 over this year. They've conceded 28 plus in 3 of the last 4. Sharks are also an over team this year, 7-6. But here are the numbers that really tip me over the line here. The Sharks have gone over in 10 straight interstate games. They go over at 60% off a win. They go over at 66% off conceding 18 or fewer. The Cowboys gone over in 13 of 16 off conceding 18 plus. 12-5 at Queensland Country Rate. Townsville's a flat track. Weather's good. Overs in 5 straight Cowboy games off a double-digit loss. I will be all over the over. Well, I'm all over the over, and I'm gonna keep getting over it. So I think that is a tremendous bet this week. And other totals I like. I'll be backing the over in the Manly Gold Coast game. I'll be backing the over in the South game too.
Yeah. So just punters there. If you're gonna have a total bet, in Saturday there's games in Newcastle and Wollongong. It's going to be pretty wet.
Yeah, okay. Hold fire. I'll tell you what, I don't know what you boys like before we get to the next bet, but Super Saturday, I could almost rename it Strip Out Saturday. And I was like, every week, every game this year, it's like, go okay, Thursday, Friday, evenly poised. Saturday, just get completely stripped out in the league. Sunday, come back and win a lot. I don't know what it is. It's been a bad Bad little thing
Last
for
Saturday at the Crown Hotel in Auckland. Good fun day, but geez, absolute wipeout on the punt.
I just wish they banned horse racing. It's my only hope. What we got to now? A roughie. Give us a roughie, Fisky.
Yeah, roughie this week. Interesting week for mine. Cowboys feel like they're roughies just the way they're going, but I've taken them at the minus. I think I'm going to go for the Warriors. There's a couple of roughies I like. I think Nathan Brown probably couldn't have gone worse this year. I know we were not too confident about him, but he's really made things tough. But I don't expect Ponga to play, and I think they're a pretty ordinary side night. So I'm going to take the Warriors to bounce back after last week's performance and knock off the Knights at 228.
Yep. Nice. Paul?
I'm having a look at the Dragons Raiders game. I'm not taking the Dragons, but I am going to take the Raiders to win 1-12 there. So Raiders 1-12.
We're looking at 310 there, Paul.
310. Thank you.
Yep.
My computer's frozen.
So Ted, what have you heard with Ponga? I heard he's just not going to be even right for Origin, let alone this week.
You don't want to know what I've heard about Ponga, Fisky, and I'll tell you what I've heard about Ponga, what the likely reason he's out is, but not necessarily sure that he's got an injury.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's highly doubtful.
Yeah, he's gone back to now Walsh back, but he's put Tuivasa-Sheck on the wing, and look, he goes against.
Just play RTS or Walsh at 5'8". You've lost.
I know.
You've lost Chanel.
What else Sullivan in, and he's got Tavanga at hooker. Like I still think individually they're a pretty good side. They're just not clicking, and the Browns just not doing it. But this night side are very beatable, and they haven't beaten the Warriors twice in one season since 2001, I think. So, Warriors usually get a win against them every year.
Yeah, they think the last 8 have gone back and forth, so it's pretty rare the team gets a streak on.
If Ponga's not there, Warriors huge value.
I think Ponga might play this week. I just don't know if he's right. But he may not. I don't know. The betting suggestion is going to play because the line moved pretty sharply when he was named. But that might be Pierce's inclusion too.
It's dropped back a bit, but yeah.
My roughie of the week, I'm going contradicting Paul here. I'm going the Raiders as well, but I'm going the Raiders 13 plus. I think they'll do a number on the Dragons. The Dragons are horrendous, to be honest. They won 9 out of 25, 2 of the last 3 by 22 or more. They're off the map. This week, the Raiders, they're open 3.5-point dogs. They're into 2.5-point favourites, 1.5-point loss maybe. So if you want to get on with us. I've got no faith in the Dragons at Wollongong. I've got no faith in the Dragons as a small underdog. Yeah, give the Raiders 7 plus that one. Your good thing, multi-anchor.
Anchor me in the middle of your deep blue sea. Anchor me.
Spectre's Fist.
Thanks, mate. I love that Anchor Me song, by the way, on the podcast. Love it. Who sings that, Ted?
We'll have to ask our producer, Ruben. Anchor Me.
Birds.
Who is it?
The Mutton Birds.
Mutton Birds. Great song. I like a few favourites this week, and there's a few I'm happy to declare. Some of them are pretty short, like Melbourne and the Broncos. So I just think they're too short. Same with Para. So I'm just going to stick with Manly. You guys have talked them up. I just don't see any way they're going to lose this game. And $1.42 looks like a pretty good price for your anchor.
Very nice. Paul?
I'm sticking with the Raiders, but I'm going to take the Raiders to win the first half. They have been, even when they've been playing poorly, They played very, very well in the first half. So I'm taking the Raiders to win the first half at $1.76.
I've heard it all now.
Hold on, that's your anchor. Right.
Have a look at the stats for the season. I haven't missed too many anchors.
You haven't had too many first half winner bets, I've got to say that. I love it.
I was, that's tremendous. I'm going to go back to having an extended multi.
Oh, no. You are kidding.
Manly, good things. Melbourne and the Bunnies, $1.70.
Not
They
bad.
all sound so good when you say them on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. And you come back on the next Monday or Tuesday, it's like, what was I thinking? Absolute madness. What do we got left? We've done totals. We've done our roughie. We've
Try
done our
scorer.
anchor. Try scorer. Try time.
Yep.
Tonight, Brisbane Souths.
You gotta get up and try. Gotta get up and try.
Yep, that's right. The try-time game this weekend is the Broncos-Bunnies game. Once again, place a pre-match anytime try scorer bet of $30 or more through your account and get a $5 bonus bet for every try scored in this match. Alex Johnson couldn't stop scoring them last weekend. He'll probably score a few more tonight, and there'll be a few other bunnies who will probably dot down. So probably a game worthy of a try-time promotion.
Fisky.
Yeah, Paul took the words right out of my mouth. AJ, Alex Johnson, there is no way he's not scoring. Just the way their their attack is shaped, he has to get it wide. They're clinical. He will score at $1.30.
$1.30, all right. Paul.
I'm going to take Latrell Mitchell at $1.83. I don't think he slows down tonight. I think he keeps going and he gets to the line. So Latrell Mitchell, who was very, very big in Origin 1, I expect him to have a big, big game tonight. $1.83.
I'm going to go with Cody Walker. I think a similar quote, Paul.
$2.
$2, Cody Walker. In his last 6 games against the Broncos, all played at 5'8", he has scored 5 tries. So, and I think he absolutely is Wayne's number one henchman for really humiliating Brisbane. And there's no better storyline in rugby league than Wayne's continued trolling of the Broncos. I expect them to continue tonight. It's just tremendous. He not only drove Anthony Seibold out of a job, he drove him to the madhouse. And now, worse, he's driven into an assistant coaching role at Newcastle. So
Now, on that point, Ted, and it's good to actually get back to some Anthony Seibold bashing. I was on my computer. I get notifications pop up when NRL.
I know, me too.
Story, and it's like Anthony Seibold explains how to take advantage in the 13 on 12, and I'm like, why would I take advice from Anthony Seibold on anything?
I'll tell you what, the NRL's had a lot of missteps, but signing him on to be the coach to explain stuff to people.
Oh, fair dinkum. Like taking a swimming lesson from Eric the Eel. Like it's just no point.
Newcastle third last this year. Hard to really picture up. They're third last this year. Seibold ran last the year before.
Yeah.
Correlation? Maybe. Yeah, I want to leave that one hanging. Who's the worst assistant coach, Paul? Anthony Seibold or Steve Hansen? Who's done less for their club?
Well, Seibold. Hansen's he's 100% 1 from 1.
I don't know who he is. Punters, that's it. Another one done, Dustin. We'll be back next week for
Count our cash. We'll be here to count our cash.
Count our cash and talk a lot of things. We might do a little bit of a review. We might add a little something, but it'll be mainly focused on Origin 2 and the Women's Origin, which I absolutely love.
Will we have anyone from Yorkshire?
I'll try. I'll do my best.
We'll have someone from Yorkshire. If we know someone from Yorkshire, we'll have 50 doing a Yorkshire accent. So that's every reason to tune in. So.
It sounds Russian when I try it, but anyway.
Who knew Putin was from Yorkshire?
Oh, tremendous. He would be a Hull. He'd be a Hull man.
Putin.
Yeah.
No, my man's actually linked to the Coventry Bears in the low level. So he's originally from.
That sounds a long way south.
No, but he's originally from. Where's Burgess from? Dewsbury? No,
Bradford, Dewsbury.
no. Yeah, Dewsbury. So knows the Burgesses quite well. So
Tremendous.
yeah. So he's actually a rugby league ambassador taking the game to the south.
Good, because I do not want to hear a southern accent on this podcast.
You won't.
I want it to be thick. I want it to be Jeffrey Boycott-esque with a bit more rugby league.
Perfect.
All right, punters. Enjoy the weekend. Find some winners. We'll catch everyone again next week on The Advantage Line.